my post-fight video for Julius Jackson versus Johnathan Nelson. Okay, Julius Jackson, Julius the Chef Jackson, the son of the former middleweight champion of the world, Julius Jackson, who everyone knows was a devastating puncher. And it seems that Julius has got that punch power too. And his older brother John, who got knocked up by Andy Lee, but certainly dropped Andy Lee and showed he has punch power as well. So tonight was Julius Jackson's debut on Showtime. So I guess there was a lot of pressure on Julius. Obviously, pressure from his management, even if it wasn't, intense pressure, just pressure to say, you know what, I guess, you're here now, you're on Showtime, the world are watching you, it's a great opportunity for you to get yourself, seen out there. So I guess that was on the young man's mind, and, him fighting on Showtime, the pressures of that, and the joy as well, wanting to impress everybody. And in the first round, started very bright. Julius dropped Johnathan with a big right hand, put him down, and the commentators thought the fight was over. Julius, I don't know if he let him off the hook or he didn't want the fight to go to finish in the first round. And in a way, I think it was kind of good that we got to see a lot more of Julius, and a lot more of Johnathan Nelson. Previous to obviously Julius talking to me via Twitter and doing an interview with me on Baylor TV, I hadn't known much about his opponent, Johnathan Nelson, but the commentators revealed that he was in the ring with Brandon Gonzalez, if I'm right. And Brandon Gonzalez, from what I remember, was a top-rated American, and was meant to give Britain's James DeGale a tough fight. I believe Gonzalez is trained by Virgil Hunter, and as you saw, Virgil DeGale dismantled Brandon Gonzalez. But again, DeGale is, in my opinion, world class and in the top 3 super middleweights in the world, in my opinion. So that's another level altogether. But for Julius Jackson, it was a good fight because we saw different facets to his game. We saw him, and the good thing about the fight against Johnathan was that Nelson came to win. Even though he got dropped in the first round, he came to win. He had some ambition. I believe round 7 was his best round, where he came back into the fight. He seemed to slightly stun Julius Jackson. Don't know if he hurt him, but for the punches he had to take, he showed a good chin. There were, I won't say worrying moments, but some concerns defensively, even in his corner. I believe his dad and the Jackson corner, were talking about Julius' attempt to keep his hands up, and at times his chin was left in the air, pulling backwards with his hands down, and throwing the right hand and getting and Johnathan being able to just time him and throw the right hand back over the top. So things like that. But that's experience, and it was good that Nelson stuck around and gave Jackson some opposition, some sort of a fight back, and it was a good fight. It was a good fight. It was an interesting fight. As you're moving up the ranks, though, you can't afford to leave yourself open against guys. For example, if that was a George Groves hitting him on the chin now, or a known puncher, it would have been an interesting fight. Still, of course, Julius Jackson has been sparring with GGG, so he'll know what it is to get hit by an extremely big puncher. And he informs me that sparring goes well and he's able to absorb what GGG throws out. So interestingly enough, that probably bodes well for the future with his chin. But yeah, the finish was good. A double left hook, which left Nelson staggering, voluntary staggering backwards, and the referee stopped the fight in the 9th. But I thought it was a good win, a good fight. things for Jackson to work on. The left hook, being able to throw the left hook more. Like to see more feints. And later on in fight, where you saw when he was throwing the left jab, it was dropping down by the side. So technical things, but technical things that can be worked on and can be adjusted. And Julius Jackson, I'm sure him and Julian Jackson and the whole of Jackson camp will go back and look at that fight and look at areas to tighten up, because they know that to become world champion, you know, areas of the game will need to be improved to fight at world level. But it was a great introduction. Julius has got punch power. He's certainly got heart, and we've seen in the Nelson fight that Julius is prepared to dig in and fight when necessary. So yeah, it was a good. I thought it was a really good win, impressive win, and I would have called Nelson a live opponent. Live because he came to fight and he came to give it a go. And even the commentators will comment. You know, I call a live opponent somebody who's willing to just not just stand there and take punches. You know, willing to engage, willing to throw punches back, and any boxer that is in there making you have to cover up and go on the defensive, I call that a live opponent. An opponent where you just standing and throwing punches and doing what you want, and the guy's retreating, he's throwing punches and doing what you want. And I didn't think that Jackson had it all his way in this fight. Yes, his jab was dominant, showed a very good ramrod jab. Again, with the jab, I'd like to see him throw 2 and 3 jabs rather than the single jab. Varied attacks. At one point, I think in round 8, we saw a lot more movement. Started putting 3-4 punches together. That was nice. Maybe Jackson was warming up. So that was good to see. Showed a good engine as well. So yeah, it was a good performance. I'd like to see Jackson have a few more fights at that level, maybe 2-3 more fights, with him showing improvements with his defense. Of course, settling now the fact of fighting now in America. I believe it was his first experience in fighting on Showtime. There was some booing in the crowd, I guess, because they were probably supporting the American fighter, and Jackson is from the islands. So he's from the Virgin Islands, so maybe there was a bit of a, home time sort of thing going on there, or, America versus the Virgin Islands sort of thing. But, yeah, Julius put on a good performance and won. And shout out to Team Jackson. It's a pleasure talking to you guys, a pleasure covering you guys, and certainly a prospect for 2014/2015. You're in the top 10 in a couple of the governing bodies as well. So I tell you, it would be nice to see you either come to the UK and fight somebody in the UK, a name that everybody can kind of recognize now, or even the US now, a name that people can kind of recognize in the super middleweight division. That a good fight might be someone like a Glenn Johnson, who everyone knows who Glenn Johnson is. Everyone knows that Glenn Johnson is faded and past it. I think Johnson fought the other day, but it's still a recognizable name. People know who he is, and it's a nice learning fight there as well. But again, my concern, Jackson needs to keep his hands up. Don't pull straight back from punches. The left hook, varying punches up. Yeah, those were my main concerns. Other than that, nice, beautiful jab, big right hand. It'd be nice even if you could hide the right hand behind the jab, maybe throw the jab, cover the face, and then throw the right hand. Or there was times where I felt up close, when Jackson was up close, he wasn't quite sure what to do, or was comfortable either throwing the uppercut or not. So maybe working on a bit more of the inside work as well. But yeah, it was a good performance, like I said, and look forward to seeing Julius Jackson, and look forward to doing a post-fight interview. It'd be good to hear his views, or how he felt his debut went, and what it was like being in the ring, and obviously making the debut and the lead up to that. So that's it. My first Julius Jackson post-fight video. Didn't do a preview, but congratulations to Team Jackson. I'll speak to you soon. Let me know what the viewers think. Great to hear your opinions. This has been Bayloric TV. If I haven't said it already, Season's greetings. I'm out.